Hello friends, welcome to all. Welcome to Make Misra channel. Today's topic is we will basically learn the types of corrosion. And if you remember, my earlier lectures was for the basic introduction of the corrosion. So in earlier lecture, we have learned the basic corrosion, redox reaction, why metal corrodes, and the reverse metallurgy. So this all we have learned in our previous lecture series. If you missed that lecture, I have shared my link of that video in below, so you can see that prior to starting this video for better understanding. So now we will move ahead to our next lecture series and we will learn the types of corrosion. So I'll start the lecture. First, basics understanding. So types of corrosion. So broadly we can classify corrosion in two types, although there are various classifications available, but in broad we can classify the corrosion in two basic types. Then first is dry corrosion and second is wet corrosion. Okay, so as name suggests, dry corrosion means it will be it will happen in presence of air. Okay, and however moisture or water will not be present, and basically it happens at temperature of 400 degrees C and above. Okay, so this is dry corrosion. And wet corrosion means it occurs at lower temperatures, and here water or moisture will be present. Okay, so this is wet corrosion, and here in dry corrosion the corrosion product will be oxide scales, and it will be in wet corrosion it will be rust or some form of hydrated oxides. So basically when metal comes in a environment contact with the environment, it forms oxides, but at lower temperature it forms protective oxide like Fe2, Fe2O3, Fe3O4, that are protective iron oxides with metal forms at lower temperature. But when temperature starts increasing and we are going beyond 400 degrees centigrade, that oxygen diffuse, and that oxides become loose, and they further not act as a protective layer, but they forms scales and they degrade, and that's why the thickness loss will happen. So that's happen at higher temperatures, and here you can see this is the thickness of oxide scale which is formed, and original metal was like this, but at higher temperature due to thickness loss now metal remains this one. Okay, so this is a basic understanding dry corrosion and wet corrosion. Now we will go in further details and we will try to understand the what is dry corrosion, how it's happened, and what are its basic forms which we can see in general day-to-day practice, and then the wet corrosion. So starting dry corrosion we are also calling high temperature corrosion. Okay, because it's happening at a higher temperature. So dry temperature corrosion is also called high temperature corrosion. So high temperature corrosion refers to a chemical attack from gases like oxygen, solids, molten salts, or molten metal at temperature above 400 degrees C. So this is important. Okay, so what is different here from general corrosion of aqueous corrosion? So here it does not require the presence of the liquid electrolyte. So here liquid electrolyte is not required, and hence metal directly reacts with the gaseous atoms in the atmosphere. So if in atmosphere oxygen will be there, it will form oxide, and if carbon is there, it will go for carburization, and if sulfur is there, it can go for sulphidation. Okay, and further HTHA, high temperature hydrogen attack and all is there. So basic examples of dry corrosion: so oxidation, carburization, metal dusting, sulphidation, and high temperature H2 or H2S corrosion. So although much more forms of dry corrosion are there, but these are the important forms which we will learn further. So this diagram we have seen, at lower temperatures there will be protective oxide layer, but at higher temperature that oxide layer will not remain same protective, and it will got damaged and further degrade and got lead to metal thinning. Now we will understand the basic mechanism of the dry corrosion. So it consists of two separate processes. First is the metal is oxidized at a metal oxide interface. So first is oxidation of the metal. Okay, in oxidation metal loses its 2 electrons and it's convert M2 plus, and the oxygen present there or any other gas present there will absorb the electron, and oxygen get reduced to oxide gas interface, and it's from O2 minus. So adding both equation, then overall reaction which will come is metal plus half oxygen is metal oxide. So here what is happening, metal is directly reacting with oxygen and forming the metal oxide, and which further degrading, and oxygen is diffusing in the metal forming further more oxides, and which is causing the thinning of that metal and further rupture or this failure of the metal. Now we will see the examples of hot corrosion. So basically first we will see the oxidation. What happens in oxidation? So in oxidation, oxygen reacts with the carbon steel and other alloys at higher temperature. Okay, so high temperature is important, converting the metal to oxide scale and thereby reducing the metal wall thickness. So it will convert metal into oxide scale. So basically which temperature are critical? So oxidation of carbon steel begins significant above 540 degrees. So this is important. So above 540 degree or 1000 Fahrenheit, the oxidation becomes significant. Okay, and the rate of metal loss increases with increasing the temperature. Then as temperature increases above 540, the metal loss will further increase to a significant level. And for 300 SS like SS 304, 316, these are resistant to scaling up to 815. So this is also important, means SS austenitic stainless steel are resistant up to 815 degree, and above this temperature, critical temperature, the significant corrosion, oxidation corrosion will start. Now this is a very important graph where we can see oxidation rate of the common alloys, means what are the corrosion rate versus the temperature of common alloys. So here first is carbon steel 540, this is the 1000 Fahrenheit, means around 500 and 550 degrees C. So this first is carbon steel. Then next come is 1.25 chrome low alloy steel, then 2 quarter chrome, then 5 chrome, then 7 chrome, means these will be alloy steels with higher alloy content. So these having further better oxidation resistant. And then comes with 7 chrome here, this one, and then P9 9 chrome, this is further more resistant to the oxidation. After this is 12 chrome, this is 12 chrome, so this is further more resistant. So here the resistance power, oxidation resistance power is increasing. Then comes this one is 304 SS 304, then 309, 310 then 800 ST, then further alloy will come here. And here are the corrosion rates, you can see here MPY, 10 MPY, 20 MPY. Okay, so basically as temperature increasing, the corrosion rate is getting increased. Here you can see in photographs as well, this is the oxidation of this carbon steel, and which got scaled up and further got ruptured. So this is basic oxidation, where oxygen is directly reacting with the steel or low alloy steels. Now next is a carburization, is another form of high temperature corrosion, or we are calling dry corrosion. So here in carburization, as I told earlier, carbon is get absorbed into metal at elevated temperatures while in contact with a carbonous material or carburizing environment. So carburizing environment is important here, and carburized steel is brittle and may spall or crack. So basically the carburizing environment is what? The carburizing environment is that where carbons will be present in the environment, like hydrocarbons, coke, gases rich in CO, CO2, CH4, ethane. Okay, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, ethane, where these gases will be present, there will be more chances of carburization at higher temperatures. Okay, so carbon steel and low alloy steel, 300 SS, 400 SS, cast steel, nickel alloy. So basically all these materials are susceptible for the carburization, but at different extent. Okay, and here you can see for steel, this is the carburized steel, and this is normal steel. So here you can see the carbon has diffused, absorbed by the metal, and further carburized and made the metal weak. Here also you can see as a greater extent, up to here the metal got carburized. This is normal metal. So when coming to further stainless steel, for stainless steel we can see as metal remains in contact with high temperature and carburizing environment, then what happens? So first there are different stages, with the time it increases. So the initial oxidation, so first is initial oxidation, the oxidation will start. Here you can see these are the oxides formed at grain boundaries and at the grains as well. Okay, so further at next stage, when more time of exposure comes, then oxidation in carburized environment. So here you see now is getting increases. Now more this oxidation is happening, and further oxidation in a carburizing environment, then further direct carburization is happening. Here first is oxides getting formed, now it's a direct carburization is forming, and here you can see the carbons now getting increased, and further internal oxidation now it's further more increased and metal becomes highly carburized. So as times goes on, with the higher temperature exposure, the carburization will happen in carburizing environment. So this is basic carburization. Now one more thing which comes important is in dry corrosion is metal dusting. So metal dusting is basically a rapid form of carburization. It's a carburization but happens very rapid rate. So metal dusting results in accelerated localized pit that occurs in presence of stream containing carbon and oxygen. So when in a stream there will be carbon and oxygen, it will be in form of highly accelerated localized, and pit form on the surface may contain carbon soot and metal dust particles. So metal will be released in the form of dust. So typically metal dusting occurs at very high penetration rate. Penetration rate is as high as 1000 mpy, very important. Okay, so it results from the following two reactions when carbon activity. So there are following two reactions will happen. First is water gas shift reaction, where CO plus H2 is CO2 plus H2. Then boundary reaction is 2CO converted CO2 into C. So which metallurgy are susceptible? So basically low alloy steel, 300 stainless steel, nickels, these are all are susceptible, and there is currently no known metal which is immune to the metal dusting. So all the metals are susceptible for the metal dusting. No one is immune, and main important thing is that it usually occurs at approximate operating temperature of 480 to 850. So this is important. It can happen from 480 to 815 degree, and damage increase with increasing the temperature up to about 850. So as temperature increase, the damage will be more. So as I told, it's a rapid form of carburization. So mechanism is almost same. First is oxide films, starts with the oxide film formation. Then next is direct carburization, then carbon precipitation, there will be precipitation of carbon, then carbon deposit, then further metal dusting. So these are the various stages that will proceed with the time. So here we understood the metal dusting basically. So now we have learned basically all this dry corrosion and its major types we came to know. Now basically coming to the wet corrosion. So wet corrosion is very popular to us. So what is wet corrosion? Wet corrosion is occurs in the presence of liquid containing ions and electrolytes. Problem with wet corrosion attack in stainless steel occurs in mineral acid, processed solutions, seawater and other chloride containing media. Then basic examples of wet corrosion. So these are basic examples are crevice corrosion, erosion corrosion, galvanic corrosion, general corrosion, intergranular corrosion, pitting corrosion, stress corrosion, uniform corrosion. So all this corrosion requires a media, electrolytic media, that is most of the cases is water or some process fluid. So these are causing wet corrosion. Here temperatures are low. So basically what these are the basic understanding, like in wet corrosion what will happen, like it will form the shallow pit or deep pitting, or it may get crack. So this is environment induced cracking, like chloride stress corrosion cracking, or this caustic stress corrosion cracking, or amine stress corrosion cracking. Then crevice corrosion, This also happens in between two metals where crevices get formed. So these are also of this low temperature corrosion. Then further intercrystalline corrosion, then galvanic corrosion, when there is a contact of two metals, one is more noble and one is less noble, then the galvanic corrosion takes place. Okay, so this is also same representation for better understanding. Here no corrosion, metal is not corroding. This is uniform corrosion all over the metal thickness. Then galvanic corrosion, where there will be two metals. Then erosion, this is flow assisted corrosion. Due to the flow of the fluid, metal is getting eroded. Then fretting, there is a movement. Then crevice, I told, when there is a gap between two metals. Then pitting, exfoliation, dealloying, intergranular, stress corrosion cracking, chloride stress corrosion cracking, and then corrosion fatigue. So basic forms of these are all basic forms of the low temperature corrosion or aqueous corrosion. Now we will understand the basic difference between dry corrosion and wet corrosion. So first is, for dry corrosion, corrosion occurs in absence of moisture, and here in wet corrosion, corrosion occurs in the presence of the conducting medium or water or some other moisture or process fluid. Then in dry corrosion, it involves direct attack of chemical on the metal surface, and here in wet corrosion it involves the formation of electrochemical cell. So here there will be formation of anode and cathode. However, in dry corrosion there will not be any cathode and anode, it will directly attack and react with the metal. So dry corrosion process is slow and wet corrosion process is very rapid. So this is important. Here corrosion products are produced at the site of corrosion. Here corrosion occurs at anode but rust is deposited at cathode. So this is also important. And last one is the process of corrosion is uniform. So this is a uniform corrosion, but it depends on the size of the anodic part of the metal. So this is depending on the anode. So this is a basic difference between this dry corrosion and wet corrosion. So hope you have enjoyed learning of the basic types of corrosion, and this is to remind you that this is a basic corrosion awareness series, and this series will continue long. And now we have completed the second lecture series. So if you have found that I have added value in your knowledge and you have got benefited of it, please share to your friends and subscribe my channel. So thank you all very much.